Okay. So first of all, there were two questions. One is the war and one was the IT sector. So see, IT sector in India, right, is got to be an AI enabler, right? It's obviously not a chip maker. It's not a hardware part of the AI. We are far from a semiconductor-driven country. So IT is the way the IT companies m- make a transition to AI consulting is to me what will drive the future of this. So far, there's been a lot of talk. All I can say is that whatever the Indian company, IT companies are saying to the analysts is not convincing the analysts. Okay. Now, the fact of the matter is, I'm sure all of them are working on AI. And in fact, from the AI data center part, the Indian future looks quite positive because we've declared a tax holiday till 2047, which is a very unusual kind of a step. And clearly, we want to cash in on that part of the boom. So those IT companies which do partnerships there and all of that would obviously get a new revenue stream from that part on there. Second is that we heard companies like TCS say that almost all of their top clients have asked them to bid for their AI restructuring projects of those companies, right? So I think that right now the market is still waiting and watching. There are no convincing answer yet. But that being said, I'm an optimist. I'm sure some of them will make that cut. Problem is to see who is going to make that big shift. Second is existing business models will be under stress. You saw what even Citadel's chief changed his mind, right? So the user industries, right? So IT industry as a SaaS model, as a SNP, what is it called, SAP, running 3-year, 5-year programs, all of them are probably going to lead to a slow death. But it doesn't mean that they will stop earning money overnight. So the point is, so to summarize it, I feel that IT has moved from a clear-cut growth sector, which it was in the post-COVID phase, to a value sector with investors who like good dividend yields, investors who like a dollar hedge, especially if you're in India. Those will find some value-based buying. So you saw that there was a sudden rally in IT, about 8% over the last 2-3 days. And then it's gave up that rally to some extent and started coming down. So it is a trader's market for me, and it's a value player's market, right? It's not a growth market. So can money be made of IT? Yes. But as an investor, I would say that I'd rather we put money on real growth businesses where we can see the line of growth. Today, IT is not showing that. I'm not the doomsdayer for the IT sector, but clearly I feel they must do a much better PR job when it comes to talking the large scale investors, so they don't stop, they stop selling it. That's where I'm on IT. On the war, does it look like end? Well, two dramatically different opinions. One is the inflation bit, which says that ultimately Trump will be under pressure to end the war with a declared victory soon. The other one says that he's not worried about the midterm election. He says he doesn't care about whether the war. He said somebody asked him till when it lasts. He said some date in September. I think some Labor Day or something. He said it can go on till then. So America's, I think some people are saying they're rebuilding their arsenal now and preparing for a fresh attack. So it's a very hard question to answer. But next 2 to 3 months, I'm not sure that Israel, for example, is no mood to give up the war. Hezbollah is in no mood to give up the war. We just have if whereby Trump can walk away with the victory comes up, but we need to treat the war as a short-term phenomenon and your definition of short-term to a few months instead of a few days.
Thank you, Sunil. So my view, and Sunil has a much more in-depth view. I think of whenever any industry, it's not only the IT industry, Indian IT industry is a good example right now, but many industries have gone through similar points where they have to change their business model. And whenever you think about such industries, think of it like a leaking bucket, right? You are trying to fill up with new AI-based projects, but your base business is leaking big time. And the bigger the leak, the bigger the problem. And that's why what Sunil was saying is that you would rather invest in a pure growth business where the leakage is not happening. There is no existing business. If there is no existing business, there is no leakage. And then the growth is pure growth. Versus when there is existing business to be saved or on which your valuation is built, And if that starts leaking, and that is the problem. So think about the Indian IT industry as a leaking bucket. You have to either stop the leakage or you have to cut the leakage away and start fresh. And it's a big change. And that's where the entire market as well as the industry is, grappling with issues. And this will happen for all the companies. It's not only for the Indian IT industry. The entire SaaS industry in the US software space is also going through the same gyration, same valuation questions. And the most important part to remember is valuation comes from the multiple that you give on the terminal value. If you are not sure about the terminal value, no matter what you do in the near term, is useless for an analyst. So once the terminal value is in doubt or shaken, then all bets are off. It is almost impossible to get that faith back. And that's the problem most of these companies are facing. And in my mind, it is very difficult to get that faith back. Terminal value faith is the most important faith. As of now, it's a leaking bucket. That's the problem. And war, yeah, it's anybody's guess. You can't say much, but we can go on to the next question.